Okay, welcome back, and let's now start looking at some of the tabs and the functions that are within each one. So the first one we're going to look at is File, and when you click on File you get these across the top here. So we've got Design, Workspace, Area, Save, which is greyed out at the moment because there's nothing to save, Close, which is greyed out at the moment because there's nothing to close, Clear All, again nothing to clear, Update and Shut Down. And as you can see, a lot of these have got the little triangle in the bottom corner which shows you that there's something else there for it to do. So let's have a look at the first one. The first one is Design. If you click on Design you get the drop down box. Now these here underneath are all designs that have been opened recently, and you can scroll through all of those and back up again. And then you have the Open folder just there. So if you click on Open, it brings you into the C drive, or should take you into the C drive. It's just like any other computer program. It's all in the drives down here. And if you find Designs and click on the drop down, just there like that, and it will open up all the designs that are on your Pro Stitch Premium. It will also, in here is where you can save all the designs that you download off the internet, or designs that you create yourself and bring into the system. So on here, let's have a look and we'll find Handy Quilter ones to start off with. So Handy Quilter Designs here, you can see that there is another arrow there, meaning that there is something else that's within that heading. So if I click on there, you can see now that we've got blocks, continuous line, corners and triangles. So if I click on blocks, it opens up all the block designs that are under the Handy Quilter title. And there's lots and lots in there. If I click on Diane Henry, it shows you all the different designs that's there under Diane's name. Now these could be blocks, or they could be edge to edge, or they could be triangles. Also, depending on which designers put them in, it could even be an area. So if you carry on looking through here, you'll see lots and lots of different ones. And again, Linda Gosling just here, she's got another one of the little arrows. Click on that one and you have different options there as well. So that one's going in circles and that one's S-curves. So you can see there's a heck of a lot of different designs out there. But this is the only place that you can open a design, in File and under Design. So let's have a look at blocks. I'll just pick one. We'll have that one, Block of Hearts. So once you click it, you can either double click and it will open, or you can select it and click Open down at the bottom. Okay, so the design is loaded, and it tells you across on this side that it's 4.9 wide by 5 high. Now you can change those sizes if you wish to. If you want to keep the ratio the same, however, you would need to go into Modify and resize there. And you can see that you would lock the ratio aspect just there, but again I'll come through that one and cover that one later on when we get onto that tab. And if we go into Design again just here, you can see that Block of Hearts, the last design, which is this one, is listed just there, so I could open that as many times as I wanted to. You will also see at the top here of the screen it says Block of Hearts, and it gives you the size in there as well. Okay, so now let's have a look at Workspace. Again, it's a drop-down menu because of the little triangle in the corner. So I can open a workspace that I've saved before, open one that has been recently used, or I'll show you later on how you can save one. Now, this one here says Workspace Backup. Your system will create a backup every now and then for you and save it as a workspace. Okay. So you can open any of these backups if you wish to. If I click on Open, as you can see on here, the only ones that I have saved on this one are backup ones, because all the other workspaces that I use are on my Pro Stitcher tablet and not on the computer. However, if I'd got workspaces saved, they would be listed here, but they would be a different colour. Area, again, another triangle at the bottom, so we'll click on that one and we'll open, and again you see I can open an area, or I can select an area that's been used previous to this. Again, if I click on area on the open box just here, it brings up the area selection, and you have a selection of pre-designed areas for you to work on. Save. Now I can save the selected, which is the design, or it could be an edge to edge that I've created, or it could be a number of designs, but they would need to be selected and highlighted. So if you remember, when we came down here, we've got select none, select multiple, or select them all. So you could choose from there, or you could choose just on here by opening them all up, and you would save that selected design. So if you save selected there, and it comes up down here, and you just call it whatever you want to call it. So that's called block of hearts. I can clear that, and I can call it block 1. And then I would click save. Now, as you can see at the moment, that would save it in this highlighted area here, and it tells you here it's in designs and blocks. If you want to save a file in a different folder, you can create a new folder here, just the same as you would do in any other program. So select the area that you want to be in, so designs for instance, click add new folder, name the folder, so up into there and call it folder 1 or whatever you want to call it, and click create. And that would then put that folder in here for you. Now you can see that I've already done that. If I scroll down, I have several that are under mine. So I've got mine, I've got my current quilts, and I've got my players. So I've got 3 separate sections just there, which are ones that I save different things in. You could have one called customer quilts, which I've also got there. I've got one here called customer selections as well. So you can save as many folders as you like, just the same as in any other program. You can also delete a folder, just exactly the same. Highlight the folder and press delete. It will then ask you whether or not you're sure, just the same as anything else, and you click yes or cancel. We've also got Save Workspace. So if I had on here an area with several different designs in there, or I've got an edge to edge that I've created for a customer quilt or for one of my own quilts, I can save that as a full workspace. So that would have the area, the design, and everything else that we got on there. You can also see here grayed out area. So I could save an area that I create as well, and it's all done exactly the same way. So save workspace, it opens up in workspaces. Again, I can create another folder if I want that says customer workspaces, my workspaces, whatever I want to put on there. Okay, the next one along is close. Again, the selection. I can close the selected, so if I had several designs open on here, I could just select 1, 2, 4, however many I would need to close down, and close selected, and so it will close that one. So because this one is selected at the moment, if I click selected, it disappears. I'm just going to click undo. So now I can close the workspace, and that's exactly the same. So it would close everything on there, the area, the designs, etc. Or I could just close the area, which again is greyed out because we don't have an area selected at the moment or created. These I think are all quite self-explanatory if you have other programs that you're using on your computers. We then have clear all, which would clear everything in that workspace altogether. Okay, and update. You will only need to go into update as and when there is an update to the program. All the instructions to do that will be found on the Handy Quilter website under the Pro Stitcher section, and you'll just follow them as it's listed. Shut down. Again, it's got the little triangle, so I can shut down the whole program. Now, if you are on your machine and you press shut down, it will shut down your Pro Stitcher and your machine if it's in a combined unit. If it's not in a combined unit, then it will just shut down the Pro Stitcher itself. If you need to reboot the system, select reboot, and it will close down the Pro Stitcher and it will reboot it for you. If, as I am now, I'm on my computer and I want to just close down the Pro Stitcher Premium but keep all the other Windows programs open, I will click Exit to Windows. Okay, so the next tab that we're going to be looking at is the Edit tab. Now under here you can see History with a triangle on the bottom, so that says there's something else in there as well. Undo, Redo is greyed out at the moment because we haven't undone anything to redo. Cut, Copy, Paste is also greyed out because we haven't copied anything to paste as yet. Duplicate and Clear All. Now you can see on here at the moment I've got two designs that are open, and I'll show you why shortly. But while we're on here, I also want you to have a look down this side here at one called Baseline. We will be discussing this one as we get further into this particular part of it. So first of all then, let's have a look at History. So if I click on History, you can see we have a drop down box again as before, and it has all the previous things that I have done on here. So when I mentioned here that when we do an action, so if I undo and redo, you get this floating down. These instructions are all the history instructions that are down here. Now I can clear the history if I wish to, or again I can select any one of these down here and it will go back to that particular point. Now if I had an area open prior to down here and I selected up here, then it would select the block of hearts with the area already in it. So you do have to look a little bit at whereabouts you are on there, but you can go back through to any of the history items and select that one and open and go back on your work rather than going to undo all the time. And again, like I say, you can clear all that history off if you wish to and just start all over again. Okay, undo is fairly obvious. You click undo and it takes you back a step. Redo again is obvious. It redoes the step or steps that you have just undone. Cut. Now I have that design selected at the moment, so if I press cut, it takes it out of the equation. I can then press paste and it will put it back in, and it's popped it down there. Now I'm going to move that and I'm going to explain why it jumped down there shortly. I can copy that one and paste it, and it has pasted exactly on top. And again, I will explain why they are landing there shortly. I can also duplicate that, and again it has landed on top of there. I'm going to cut that one out, and I'm going to cut that one out. Okay. We also have clear all, which is again fairly obvious. It will clear all the designs that are on the page. Now, if you remember, when we went into the settings and we went into advanced and we looked at the load points, so the load start point at the crosshairs and the load point to point, this is why the designs were landing on top of each other. So if we go back into the edit page, I'm going to copy and paste that one again, and again you can see that it's landed directly on top of itself, and that's because the stop and start points are right in the centre. I'm going to cut that one and I'm going to come to this one. If I do the same again, and if we just go back and check which settings we have, and it should be the load point to point just there, okay. If I copy and paste that one, that was where the end point was of that design, and the next one that's loaded has landed straight on top of there, so the start point and the end points are together. And this is how you can make those designs continuous. So now I've brought back in the block of hearts 24, so all I've done is I've gone back and undone until I've got it back again. So now you can see block of hearts is the last one to be put back in there, or to be in there. So the heart in heart border is the first design that I opened and put on there, and it's selected at the moment, and the block of hearts is the last one on the order. Now if I copy the one that's selected, and paste, you'll find that that has jumped onto here, because that is the last design on the list that has been activated, if you like, within the whole of the design. And so the next one to be brought in, which is this copy, goes to the bottom of the pile and joins itself onto that one. So if for any reason this happens to you, just look across here and see whereabouts the order is in order to be able to swap it and change it around. Okay, so now I only have the heart in heart border selected, and I'm going to copy and paste that one, and it joins together. Now if you look back down here on the bottom left hand corner, we have select none, multi-select and select all. So now I'm going to select all, and if you look across here, it's created a group. And up here we have heart in heart border and heart in heart border 57. Now if you remember when I said that you create another one, it gives it another number on its own. So that is the second one there. But because these haven't been connected yet completely, so they are still two separate designs, they're placed in a group, but they're not connected as yet. So you can still go back in, change them around and move them about until you baseline. So over here on this side there is a baseline button. You press baseline and you can see now that that's a merged group. Okay, and what's happened is there's no stop start just here anymore, and the two designs have been made into one, and this is a little bit like an intermediate save. So although it's an intermediate save, it's not saved as a file as yet or anything else like that. If you look in history, you can see that the baseline is there. You can now still go back and undo that so that it becomes two separate designs again, and you can carry on going backwards and forwards. Once you're happy with how it is, baseline it to connect the two together. Then go to File and to save the selected. And now you can call that whatever you want. You can also save it as part of the workspace if you're going to be adding two. And of course you can continue to save the workspace all the way along. So once it's saved and it's gone into whichever file you've decided to put it into, you can then open that up, change it and edit it as much as you like. You can add to it if you want to. Just use it like a normal design because it is saved as the two together. So the next tab along is area, and we have again on here we have the file with the drop down corner. We have greyed out select because we don't have an area to select at the moment. We have clear, don't have an area to clear at the moment. We have RB area, now that's rubber band area, and I'll show you that shortly. We have two corner, and this is how you create an area, and multi-point, again how you create an area. We then have one called Quilting Space, and if you remember I said that it was over on this side as well, and we would look at that. So Quilting Space is the amount of space that your machine will have to move in order to do the quilting without running into the bars or running off the side of the quilt. This quilting space is in a black solid line and it stays there no matter what else you do or move. Again, this will make more sense when we actually come round to it, but basically it's your quilting area within the throat space of your machine. So if we go into File here, we can open an area that's been opened already, or we can open one that is within the Files section in the software. And these are, as I say, are all the ones that have been pre-made for you, and you can open any of those. Okay, let's just open the last one that we had, and you can see that's a half hexagon. And now you can see that select and clear have become active. You can also see that the outline is in dashed lines and it is pink. This means that it's not yet selected, it's just open. And if I click on select, it goes green. Now you can do other things with that one. I will come back to that later on when we get into the modify section. Clear has also become active and we can clear the area. So we've looked at the designs that are already within the Pro Stitcher program. Let's have a look at making one ourselves. To do that, we have to simulate the needle point. So you need to click on the button here, Simulate, and the crosshairs then become the representation of your needle. So we're going to take it just up here, so it's click and drag, and I'm going to go to corner, and I'm going to bring it down here, and I'll do to corner again. And it's as simple as that to make a square or an oblong. So if you were doing a block, this is how you would do it. Now obviously not all of the areas that you're wanting to create will be square. So let's have a look at doing a different one. If you are doing a star or an octagon or something like that, you'll need to put more points in. So you will need multi-points. So take the crosshairs to wherever you need them and click multi-point. And this is what we're just going to do all the way around whatever shape design it is. And as you can see, it will always try to make a solid shape for you and not just straight lines. So wherever you're taking the needle point to, it will try and create a connection for you. So if it's an odd shape to start off with, don't worry about it. As long as you keep going around your shape or your area, it will eventually create what you're trying to achieve. Okay, so that's a rather strange shape, but that's what we've done and created for you. Now across here you can see we have a 7-point count, so we've got 7 points on there, and we also have the option of snap to grid. We've also got on here as well, we've got the size of the area that we've created. So let me get rid of that one, and I'll just go back and create a 2-corner one again just to show you, and this time I'm going to use snap to grid. So now when we take the points across towards the grid, it will actually snap onto that grid point. If I come down here and I'm not quite on that line, as you can see, and I still press 2-corner, it will snap into that grid point just there. Now over here you can see that the area is now 16 wide by 11 high, and I can change that if I want to, like I can in the other ones, with the sizes of your designs, etc. So just click in there, and I'm going to make that 18, and I'm going to make that one 12. The other way that you can create an area, I'm just going to clear that again, is by bringing your crosshairs into the first point that you want it to be at, clicking 2-corner, and then coming directly over to here onto the area dimensions and filling it in. So 12 by 15. And it creates that area for you from that first initial point. The next thing we'll look at is Quilting Space, and this will represent the total quilting area that you have available on your frame. This will be a solid black line, and it will not move. You can't reshape it, you can't change it. The only thing you can do is clear it. So again, with your simulation button chosen and activated, you will place your needle at the top left hand of the quilt or the quilting space that you have, and click 2-corner and drag it down to the bottom right and click 2-corner. There you can see the solid black line. Okay, we'll clear that. So to clear it, you need to activate your quilting space again and press clear. Now we have here rubber band area, and you can see it's still not activated. Now this can only be used when you have a design. So we're going to click File, we're going to find a design, and we'll choose block 17. Now when I go back to area, rubber band area is activated. And if I click on that, you can see it puts a dotted line all the way around whatever design it is that you have on there, as if you had wrapped a rubber band around it. Now that you've created that area, you can then go ahead and save it if you want to. So again, you would just go into File, Save, Area, and give it whatever name you wish. Okay, let's move on to the next tab.